So we are discussing about what the social norms were, what the social regulations were, and what efforts were made to force the people to accept the social norms so that the society could function in a smooth and systematic manner. The people placed at the lowest rank in society were made to accept the social norms by the theory that the Varna order was of divine origin. The Brahmins also tried to establish it strongly by describing stories told in the different epics like Mahabharata and Ramayana. For example, the stories of Mahabharata, or that of Drona, or it was that of Eklavya, or Karna, Hidimba, Matanga. These are some of the stories which can be put forward to explain that how there was effort to maintain the social order in the name of Dharma. And people were expected to follow the Dharma, their Dharma, as it was designated to them on the basis of the caste to which they belonged. Uh, the stories of these people, like what I was talking about, the Drona, Hidimba, Matanga, Karna, these give examples of the efforts of the upper class to maintain the social order, the social norms. The stories of Drona, Eklavya, or that of Hidimba, Bhim, or Matanga brings out the belief of the people in following the social norms. In all the three stories on the norms of the Dharma, it becomes clear that all these contain the same norms of Dharma. All the people of the society considered it to be their duty to follow the right occupation as determined by the Varna system. For example, to impart education was a profession assigned to the Brahmins, and therefore the Dronacharya Brahman was engaged in imparting education to the Kshatriyas. And the Kshatriyas' work was to protect the society, and they needed to be expert in warfare. The other castes, they were not expected to attain knowledge, or they were expected to do what was expected from their particular caste. The Guru Dronacharya was performing his duty of his Varna by imparting lessons to weaponry training to the Kshatriya Pandavas and Kauravas princes. Dronacharya's refusal to accept Eklavya as his pupil or Karna as his pupil or student because they belong to the lower caste is an expression of belief in maintaining the Varna Dharma that was expected from Dronacharya. But there are also examples which speaks about the transgression from the existing social norms. We can say that Dronacharya's refusal to impart Eklavya or Karna training in archery was according to the norms of the Dharma. In the same way, when we talk about Hidimba's proposal to Bhim for marriage and Bhim's refusal to accept the proposal uh, was based on the norms of Varna Dharma. Again, about Matanga also was refused food from his own son because he was not knowing about him, but that was in accordance to the Varna Dharma, as Matanga appeared to be an outcast from his dress. Thus, he was not worthy of alms, as the food was for the Brahmins only. So there was effort of maintaining the social norm, social order, but there were examples of transgressions from that. These stories that we talk about as an example of maintenance of social order, efforts to maintain the social order, these are also examples of the transgressions that took place and opposition that was there towards the social norms or the dharma. Uh, We can say that all efforts were made to impose and implement these social norms as stated in Dharma, but there was resentment against these norms and social traditions and practices of one system, which is evident from the stories of Eklavya, Karna, Hidimba, and Matanga. Uh, in fact, these stories are expressions of both efforts to maintain the social norms and the resentment of the people against these social norms in the name of Dharma. In the story of Drona Eklavya, a forest dwelling Nishad started practicing archery on his own by accepting Drone as his teacher, which he should not do because the caste to which he belonged didn't provided him opportunity to accept to get uh, education in this field, become expert in archery. His work was the expectation of society was different from the him because he belonged to a different caste. He was not a Kshatriya. He did so against the Brahminical norms. Eklavya action was against the Brahminical norms, and he had to pay for that. He had to lose his thumb because it was not expected that non-Kshatriyas should take the education of Vepanari. So there had been efforts uh, forcing the different caste to accept the social norms, and there have been examples also of people transgressing from and opposing the social norms, and the evidence is that of Aklavya. Kern is also an evidence for that. Kern took education from went to first of all he went to Drone, but Drone denied to impart education to him because he belonged to a he was considered a Sudputra. And but somehow he got education from another teacher, and but he had to pay for that. Ultimately, when it came to know to the knowledge of the that teacher from whom he was getting education in Vepanari, he himself cursed him, and ultimately he lost his life because of that. So there are examples of transgressions also. There are examples also which states that all efforts were made to maintain the social order and people are forced to accept it in the name of Dharma as it was ordained by God, and everyone has to accept it. So these examples that has been given, that also speaks about the resentment that existed among the common people against the established system, against the norms that were codified in the Dharma Shastras. But since the upper caste had the dominance, it was forced on the people to accept it.